Good morning, my little chickadees. This is Granny Patty getting ready to start telling you all about the northern United States. This is lesson number 7. Today, we travel between two countries that share the longest land border in the world. The border between the United States and Canada is 5,525 miles long. With 119 legal land border crossings, there are many ways to get to the United States from Canada. Our destination, the last frontier. Alaska's border with Canada is the longest of any state at 1,528 miles long. And today we are going to cross that border and discover some of the amazing things that make Alaska such a unique part of the United States. There's an activity break. Suggestion: find Alaska on the map and notice how close Alaska is to Russia. Look up the flag of Alaska. Why do you think that design was chosen for the flag? Do some research to find the real reason behind the design. Were you right? So, the landmarks. Mount Shishaldin is an active volcano in the Aleutian Islands off the coast of Alaska. It is known to be the most symmetrical, cone-shaped mountain covered in a glacier on Earth, and it rises more than 6,500 feet in the air. The western coast of Alaska and the islands in the Pacific Ocean are part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, with many volcanoes contributing to the diversity of the land. When we think of volcanoes, we usually envision hot, tropical surroundings with a rocky volcano rising from the landscape. The sight of this entirely white glacier-covered mountain with a steady plume of steam rising from the crater at its peak makes for a unique sight that will leave you with awe and wonder. The last major eruption occurred in 1999, but since then it has had small earthquakes occurring every couple of minutes, continuously creating steady puffs of steam. Land and animals. Alaska is truly a paradise for the outdoors enthusiast. We find North America's highest point at Mount Denali, whose summit reaches 20,306 feet, and the lowest point in the Aleutian Trench at 25,000 feet below sea level. The Tongass National Forest is the largest national forest in the United States. Admiralty Island National Monument is home to the largest concentration of brown bears anywhere in the world, as well as the largest concentration of nesting bald eagles. Remember, we learned about that. In some areas, you can see an eagle nest almost every mile along the coast. Thousands of eagles nest here each year, and much of the island is untouched wilderness, providing perfect habitat to these remarkable animals. Alaska is famous for its scenery and outdoor adventures. It is full of trails ranging in difficulty from days-long mountain hiking trails to short, accessible nature trails that anyone can enjoy. There is opportunity for camping, fishing, skiing, and river rafting, among the other exciting activities that will get you outside to enjoy the beauty of the world God has created. Alaska's beautiful forests and tundra provide habitat for a wide range of wildlife, while the coasts are home to stunning birds and Arctic sea creatures. Moose, caribou, black bears, lynx, and wolves can all be found in this vast land. The waters teem with whales, seals, and other marine mammals, as well as many varieties of fish. Caribou might be most commonly known as reindeer. While these two animals are the same species, there are some differences. Reindeer are originally from Europe and Asia, while caribou are endemic to North America. Some reindeer are domesticated and are raised for meat, while caribou are wild and characterized by long migrations. Alaska is home to many caribou and even some reindeer that were imported over 100 years ago from Siberia. Caribou migrate long distances north to their summer grazing, often journeying hundreds of miles, so they can feed on the grasses of the tundra and give birth to their young. Cow caribou give birth to one calf each year. When the snow starts to fall, they head back south for the winter, where they will feed on lichens, which is a leaf-like plant growths that grow on rocks, walls, and trees. Caribou are unlike other members of the deer family in that some female caribou have antlers, as well as their male counterparts. Now, what's there to eat in Alaska? Alaska's food is reflective of the bounty of the sea and the wilderness. Salmon and halibut are frequently eaten here, as well as the famous Alaskan king crab. Yum-y. While you won't find moose on the menu at many restaurants, many local residents hunt wild game for their delicious meat. Alaska has some of the furthest north rainforest in the world, so during their long summers, there are plenty of opportunities to grow delicious local produce. All of these amazing offerings can be found in Alaska, and when you are done eating your fresh meal, a dessert made with fresh local berries is the perfect ending. I think it's safe to say that a trip to Alaska will make your taste buds want to stay just a bit longer. Well, it would me. So another extension activity, Mom. Make a berry cobbler, crisp or pie. Alaska is famous for its wild berries. Do some research to find out what different berries are grown in Alaska, and then decide what kind of berries you would like to use for your dessert. Okay, we're talking about the history and the culture. The United States has a culture that varies depending on the area of the country you are visiting. One unique thing about this country is that it is one of several nations with no official language. English is the most widely spoken language in the United States, and all legislation, regulation, and court rulings are written in English, with the most common being Spanish. However, neither of these languages, or the hundreds of other languages that have been spoken in this country through the years, have ever gained official language status. While many states have English as their official language, others recognize English and other languages as official languages. Alaska is one of the states that recognizes more than one official language. This most northern state recognizes English along with 20 indigenous languages. Did you know Hawaii recognizes both English and Hawaiian as official languages? Do you know if there are any other states that recognize official languages? If you want, look it up as a family. Alaska has a long and rich history of surviving in challenging terrain. One way that the people of Alaska have survived through the long cold winters is by using teams of dogs to get where they need to go. Dog sleds are an integral part of the history of Alaska, and this history is being kept alive by the world-famous Iditarod race. This race was originally organized with the goal of saving the dog sledding culture that was beginning to rapidly decline since snowmobiles had been invented and become widely available. The Iditarod is an annual race that begins in Anchorage and ends in Nome, the route covering approximately 1,150 miles. Mushers, which are dog sled drivers, take to the trail every year to battle the elements in this remarkably challenging race. There are checkpoints set up in towns along the way, and the race takes around 9 days or more to complete. The Iditarod has become so well known that many mushers receive corporate sponsorship, like professional athletes in other sports. Mushers can make a living from breeding sled dogs and racing in many different races around Alaska and other northern climates. Now that might be fun to look up and see when the next one is. So hands-on activity, draw a picture of an Arctic puffin or sculpt a sea cliff out of clay. These unique birds breed along the coasts and islands of Alaska. Alrighty then, my dear ones, it's Mommy's turn to take over. You're going to be using your notebooks. This is Granny Patty getting ready to say thank you very much for listening. I hope you're having a great day. Don't yell at each other. Be nice to each other. Kiss your parents and tell them thank you for everything they do for you. And I will be with you shortly for lesson number 8. Bye-bye now.